Hera has unfortunately run into Wam. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first game in the series between Hera, who spawns in on the south side of the map, playing the Rus in the color blue, and his opponent, who spawns on the north side of the map, playing the Mongols in the color red. It is a man you've probably never heard of before, unless you've been to numerous grocery stores. It is Wam01. Lidakor, tell us a little bit about this guy's journey. Who is he? Where did he get here? Or how did he get here? And what the heck's he doing in our final? We're down to the final four right now. Who is this guy?
Well, we don't know much about this guy, but according to Twitch chat, many people have met Wam in a specific Los Angeles grocery store. And it looks like Hera is going to bump into him here in the semifinals as well. Hera opening up with an extra scout over here, gathering quite a lot of wolves, a nice little start for him. And on the left side, we're going to have a Mongol Khan moving around, also dropping the Scouting Falcon on the left side. Mongols, a civilization that we haven't seen today yet.
Yeah, it is going to be the first time we're actually seeing them out because they've been banned for the entirety of the day. And curiously, what's this villager doing just down here? I'm not sure if you spotted that. There's a villager that's like doing a back and forth with the berries. Yeah, what is this villager all about? So he's dropped down the uvu. He's got a berry. He's gathering berries and...
I think he might want to build something, but there is not enough wood for that. It's usually the way that you do this. It's like, okay, I want to build a barracks or a stable, but I don't have I don't have the resources for it, so you start sending that villager back and forth, so at least it doesn't show up as idle.
Yeah, so he did a really cool thing. So you see how he's got his uvu out here, sort of away from his town center. He sent that villager out, and then instead of just sending that villager all the way back to the town center to go and chop some wood, he sent it over to the berries, and he actually gathered 10 food up, and then took that back with him to the town center, and then brought it back out all the way to drop that stable down. So utilizing that little bit of downtime just to gather 10 food. Might not seem like a lot, but it could be the difference between him being able to get a villager out, being able to age up a second faster, that sort of thing really helps out.
Oh boy. That villager is on a journey, is going to bump into a wolf. This map is just stacked with wolves. I've seen Hera killing dozens of wolves over here. He's already at 225 bounty, and Hera is going to find that villager. This lady is going to have a very, very disappointing life over here. Berries or not, the wolf is going to lose interest in her, so I guess that's a positive sign.
Yeah, unlike the people down at the grocery store, the wolf has just turned its back on Wam's villager, and not only the wolf turning its back, but Hera's scout also turning its back as well, and just deciding that he's going to fight off against the wolf. But now it looks like backup has been called. Wam going to be bringing a few of these horsemen out onto the map and looking to do some damage nice and early. Going to be able to pick off this wolf and prevent his opponent from taking it and managing to get the stab. Oh, he actually gets the snipe off Hera, showing the micro moves right there. Really well played by him. So wasn't able to get the perfect shot off Wam, unfortunately, but wow, that was pretty nice.
Hera's at 285 bounty, and since this is the first game of this set, we haven't mentioned that we're playing on the new January patch, so the horsemen now receive an extra ranged armor over here as the Khan goes down to the town center fire of Hera. That's a massive loss there for Wam.
Oh.
So at this point,
that's not pretty. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Did you see that?
The Kremlin.
Oh my god, it's the second one in a row. The second Kremlin we are seeing today, ladies and gentlemen. Get your hypes in the Twitch chat. This is insanity right here. What is going on that we're seeing so many Kremlins out? This is Hera playing the Rus right now with the Kremlin, 5 villagers on that. A little bit of a villager push coming down right now from the Wam. He's got the 2 horsemen out doing the ring around the rosy, animation cancelling. Two sheep getting in on the action as well. It looks like Wam going to be losing this villager though. 3 scouts trying their best. He's tucked in behind that tree. Villager does go down. Rest in peace, Wam. It was a short life. It was a good life. But it was a life made better by you being there. So thank you. But now that villager, unfortunately, just going to be part of Wam's memory.
I wonder what the idea was with that villager, because since we have a ton of action going on, we didn't have the chance to talk about the January patch, but the price for the Mongol towers was increased in that patch, so it's much more difficult to tower rush now in Dark Age. Definitely a nerf to the Mongols over here. And as you said, Hera is going up with the Kremlin. Given the fact that the professional scouts play was also nerfed to a certain extent, that also is going to make the Rus fast castle less viable, and if you're not fast castling, you might as well go for a Kremlin. Let's not underestimate this building, it's very useful, at negating early aggression, and Mongols being a great early aggressive civilization, the Kremlin can help a lot, and it works as a wooden fortress on your lumberjacks as well, so it does give you an economy benefit as well as a ton of defense.
Yeah, I'm curious what we're going to see in combination with this. I remember back in the day, there was a build order that the Mister was doing with the Kremlin. And essentially, he would go for it was like a Kremlin 2 TC fast castle. He'd use the Kremlin to provide defense for the second TC. It was a pretty smart move. So maybe we could see something similar coming out from Hera. I will note that that Wam's got some stone in the bank, but obviously he's playing the Mongols. That's a normal part of the Mongol life. If he wants to go and create a second town center, he's going to need a lot of wood. But behind this, it looks like Hera actually going to be picking up professional scouts himself. He's got about 40 seconds left on that one. A few scouts out on the map already. And he's up to 345 bounty, so doing a very nice job collecting that bounty, Lidakor.
Exactly, 345 bounty is nothing to be ashamed of, and that's part of the reason why he can afford the professional scouts so easily. Because if you think about it, he has the scouts out already. If he can afford professional scouts without sacrificing much, might as well grab that and ferry in the deer. And with this much bounty in the bank, it's 100% sure that he's picking up the professional scouts. But this is what we're seeing here with the horsemen. Horsemen being able to chase down those scouts is definitely valuable here for Wam, and given the fact that the scouts will be even slower when carrying carcasses, that's where those horsemen can really start doing damage and killing those scouts before they can ferry in the deer.
Yeah, not to mention he'll have the Khan nearby ready to pop off that movement speed arrow. And it's going to be difficult for Hera to try and clean up any of those hunts, even if they're nearby. I suspect that Wam is going to be having plenty of coverage. Wam now reaching up to the second age at 6 minutes 30, so quite a late age up right there for Wam. But going up with that the deer stones, you can see them right there, and plenty of villagers on gold at the moment, 16 villagers on food. I can only suspect he's thinking about going for a vast castle here, but not a lot of food is going to mean that he's going to have a difficult time, I would say. There's not a lot of sheep underneath that town center. He's got one that's left there. So, yeah, a bit of a difficult position for him.
Usually when you see these early horseman openings, you follow it up with a fast castle for Wam, or any kind of Mongol player, if you delay your Feudal Age that much, but he simply doesn't have the food for that, so he's going to decide by the professional scouts build here. And given the fact that he's got map control with those horsemen, that could work out nicely. Hera's reaction is going to be a knight here, though. Knights being able to scare away those horsemen quite effectively. Hera is mining a lot of gold already with the second stable as well, bringing in the carcasses. And he's also dropping some additional hunting cabins. He's floating a lot of wood because of the extra lumberjacking power provided by the Kremlin, so he can spend those on hunting cabins to get a nice passive gold trickle.
Yeah, typically we would see those Rust players going for a wooden fortress nice and early. They have plenty of resources to do it, but obviously not needing to do it with the Kremlin, so it does give him that extra little bit of wood that he can spend on the hunting cabins, buff up his gold economy there as well. But now we see a little bit of a dance going to be happening. Wam going to be taking out a villager of Hera's. Wam also going to be losing one of those horsemen and managing to repel the majority of the attack. And we see charges now down towards the south. Early horseman going to get taken out. Hera looking pretty strong at these early stages, managing to repel very effectively his opponent. But we do see both players now going for professional scouts. We see Wam bringing in ever so slowly those scouts with the deer on the back. And first pasture of the game going to be coming down here for Wam.
For now, Wam, of course, is going to consume those deer carcasses, but the fact that he already has a pasture will mean that when the carcasses run out, he's going to have a couple of sheep to work with already. And you see that he's still aiming for that fast castle, but now he might be forced to make some spearmen here, because those knights could start burning down the Ovu. And indeed, the barracks is just now coming in. Usually when you see this type of build for Mongols, you're expecting a fast castle into double Lancer production come in.
Yeah.
And if the Ovu is denied, that's a great way to slow that one down for Hera. Hera himself, not looking great on the resource department though, so Hera's gonna have to do some damage over here, otherwise Wam is gonna beat him to Castle Age quite effectively.
Yeah, that's my main concern as well. And if he does get up to Castle Age before Hera, he's going to be able to start getting that number advantage when it comes to Lancers. Obviously, at the moment, Hera's able to continue training them up in the second age, but the longer that he waits is going to be difficult for him because he's going to start having that significant number advantage. But now, it looks like Wam being a bit more defensive and just keeping that Mongol Khan out and being annoying. We see that both players are still managing to ferry in that deer of their respective hunts. Survival techniques also coming in for Wam at this point, so looking to try and buff up that food gathering a little bit. No wheelbarrow yet to come in for him. I'm curious what type of, how many resources in the bank right now have been stacked up for Hera. We can see Wam is about to click up to the next stage. Hera about to do something similar, still about 300 food behind, but in the scheme of things, 300 food isn't going to take you too long to gather, maybe about 30 seconds at this point in time.
Especially with level 2 bounty over there, that's a very nice consistent eco bonus over the Mongols here for Hera, and he's gonna burn down the Ovu, so despite the fact that he's going to be behind in terms of Castle Age timing, at the end of the day, Vam is going to lose that Ovu, so he's not going to have the double training of Knights when getting to Castle Age. In fact, we're seeing double Barracks now, so it's possible that we're going to see a combination of Men-at-Arms and Spearmen instead of Lancers in Castle Age for him. He's going up with the Step Redoubt, as one would expect, but he's not going to have access to that Stone Trickle from the Ovu, and he's not going to have access to the double training either. On the other side, Abbey of Eternity coming in here for Hera, the good old-fashioned way of playing the Rus. And let's see, he's going for Knights, which honestly I think is the right decision. I wouldn't personally love, as we have the stable being very exposed, so I wouldn't personally love the Horse Archer play here, especially because Lancers and Mangudai are a very scary combination against them, especially now that the Horse Archers have been nerfed. So, kind of feel like Knights is the good decision here for Hera.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Knights is definitely the play, especially in this matchup as well. Mobility is going to be really important to have against the Rus player. They've obviously got plenty of Lancers that are out on the field already. So it makes a lot of sense. But now we see the animation cancelling beginning between these two players as they begin trying to fight their way through these early battles. We see the Uvu getting dropped down once again on this forward stone mine. It looks like Hera is going to get cleaned up here. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, says Wham, and he manages to hold on for his dear life and forces out his opponent, Hera, walking away with his tail between his legs once again.
And this is a massive win here for Vam. But on the not-so-bright side of things, he had to invest a ton of resources into double barracks. Of course, those will come in handy now that Hera is going for full melee cavalry. So there is definitely some positives in there. Ovu is up, and let's see if we're going to see improved siege engineering coming in early for the Mongols, something that we quite commonly see Mongols players do. Looks like the production buildings aren't being moved to the influence radius of the Ovu just yet, and now Hera retaliates on those spearmen. So once again, he's got the map control for the time being, and there comes improved siege engineering indeed.
I like this from Wham. This is very smart. This is a nice little pocket strategy. So he's not going spearmen. He's not going men-at-arms. He is not going for lancers. He is going for spearmen mangonel push. And this is really smart. If he can keep this in his pocket until he is right outside the enemy's base, build those mangonels right at the last second, it's going to prevent any sort of counterplay with those springalds coming out. It's going to take way too long for Hera to even get those out, and he could potentially just wipe out entire armies in the blink of an eye. So really looking forward to watching how Wham manages to unfold with this. It is going to be short. It is going to be sweet, I'm suspecting.
He's going for a double spearman training, and one of the advantages of that is that you can flood a lot of spearmen with the stone you have. So compared to, let's say, a double lancer training, lancers are a lot stone heavier on the cost department. So because of that, you can afford way less lancers on double training compared to spearmen, and that means that you can flood the map with spears very easily. Looks like that stable is gonna get burnt down over here. There is no repair villagers nearby. You could try to pick this up and make a run for it. Villagers are being pulled to repair. I think they can get there in time thanks to the deer stones.
Yeah, it's going to be tight for them. Only a few spears coming out here. They've got to be careful not to get picked off at this stage, just because their numbers are so low. But we do see those reinforcements beginning to group. And I think at this point, Hera should probably realize, well, hold on a minute. My enemy's got veteran spear in now. They are really thinking about going for heavy spears. So Horse Archers look to be the name of the game at the moment for Hera. I don't know whether that's the correct choice or whether he should be thinking just more about his non-mounted counterparts.
This is difficult. I feel like non-mounted counterparts are a lot more exposed to mangonels, as you said. On the other hand, the big problem here for Hera with the Horse Archer play is that he's got one range right now worth of production, and just 3-4 Horse Archers won't do much here. So he's gonna need a lot bigger mass than that. Looks like Hera's trying to pick that relic up, running away with the Warrior Monk after dropping the relic, but the Khan is going to finish it off. So that relic, which is the first one that Hera was planning to pick up, is going to be denied for the time being. Now Vam is going to spot the Horse Archers moving in.
Very unfortunate right there for Hera. The very first one that he was going for, and it gets sniped out. But now that Mangonel coming down, it also, at the same time, Hera has picked up another relic over towards the west of his base. We can see on the mini-map now that, just to the south, yeah, there we go, that it is coming in. You can see how slowly it's going there with the relic on its back. What's the movement speed? I'm curious to see exactly what it is. 1.22, yeah, so about 0.4 of a difference from where it would normally be. I think it's normally 1.62. But yeah, Wam having no trouble picking up that first Warrior Monk. Going to be coming into the base of his opponent and now looking to do some damage. We see that Mangonel about to unfold, getting off a decent shot there, lands on the cavalry. The spearmen have run way too far. Mangonel's got to turn itself around, and we can see just how much of an issue it's going to be for them because those Mangonel turns around again and gets off a great shot here. These spears are having a decent time. Lidakor, this is looking pretty good for Wam at this point.
Yeah, it's looking great. He's moving out for the relics with the Shaman as well, trying to deny them from Hera, but that is going to be one dead Shaman out there. That also means that Wam had to invest into a prayer tent as he's retreating with that con for time being. He tried to get some raids going, and it looks like he's getting some over there. 2 knights from the right, 2 knights from the left will result in a couple of villagers taken down from Hera.
Yeah, this is absolute insanity. So for anybody wondering who this guy is, how is he playing out of his mind? He went up against Lucifron in an earlier round, and he 2-0'd Lucifron. Lucifron, literally one of the best Age of Empires 4 players. He 2-0'd him. So it wasn't even close. So this is, without a surprise, Wam is looking incredible in this game right now. He looked a little bit shaky early on. Hera did push in, but Wam managed to clear it up. We can see the infrastructure he's putting down now behind this, using that shaman that we talked about a little bit earlier to pick up those relics and look to clean those up. It looks like the second relic has been picked up by Hera, and now there's only 2 relics that remain on the map.
Indeed, first relic coming in here for Wam. Of course, at this point, against the Rus, if you are able to pick up 2 out of the 5 relics, you should be satisfied with that, because if you think about it, even with the Warrior Monks taking slightly longer to be carrying those relics, against the Rus, it's a great accomplishment that the Rus player doesn't have 4 or 5 relics over here, and this Warrior Monk is also going to feel very, very disappointed over here, carrying the relic backwards, and, well, if you drop the relic, the Shaman's gonna pick it up. If you don't drop it, then the Warrior Monk is going to die, and the Shaman is gonna be like, thank you, and picks it up, goes back home.
At the end of the day, I mean, you're going to lose the relic anyway. Do you lose the relic and the Warrior Monk, or do you just lose the relic? And it looks like he's just lost the relic. It makes a bit of sense. But overall, 3-2 going to be going over. Hera picking up those 3 relics, 2 going over to Wam. I think you'll be very happy with that, as you mentioned, going up against the Rus. Any day that you can get 2 of the relics secured is going to be a happy day. But Mangonel shot landing in. These horse archers got barely any health, but they do manage to take out a few villagers before they do take a final Mangonel shot to the face. It doesn't manage to get off, but now back towards the base of Hera. It looks like another raid going to be coming down. More outposts going to be going down on this gold mine. Probably going to be having the arrow slits coming out shortly as well, or at least, or might even see the Springald upgrade potentially.
Wam is consistently trying to send in 2 or 3 knights into Hera's economy to try to get some raiding damage going. But of course, with those horse archers coming in, they managed to pick off some vills as well from Wam. So currently we're sitting at 52 vills for Hera, 53 for Wam. That even. But of course, Hera is going to have the relic advantage, 3-2, and he also has 1 sacred site. And he's also in the possession of this boar, which is 2,000 extra food to work with without having to add farms.
Yeah, this is a pretty big move as well from Hera. He's out in the middle of the map, and Wam has now discovered that the hunting cabin is out there. He could begin to turn his attention out there, really start to press the issue. Obviously, he's got the Mangonel, and the emphasis or the onus is going to be on Hera to actually stop that, counter that, to get those Springwoods out. Have we got a siege workshop coming out just yet for Hera?
Yes,
Indeed, we do. Double Springald out already, so Hera is going to be in an absolutely fine position in the event Wam looks to push. He's also getting out a 3rd Springald, so he's going to be able to one-shot those Mangonels. No problem whatsoever.
Indeed, the window seems to be closing a tiny bit here for Wam, because he has a big army, but he hasn't really been using that. He's now adding some Springolds on the battlefield, and reinforcing those Springolds will be much, much easier over here for Wam. Hera sees that. So Hera knows exactly those Springolds are coming in. But the big concern, I think, here for Hera is that he doesn't have a direct answer to the Spearman plus Men-at-Arms combination over here. So he can snap the Mangonels, but he won't be able to deal with such a big group of infantry at this point.
Yeah, what has he got behind this? I mean, we know that he's got knights. We know that he's got a handful of the horse archers. 3 Springalds moving up now, taking out the Mangonel in one shot. There goes, what was it, 650 resources in a single volley. Second shot going to come off. Hera managing to take out, trying his best to take out that Mangonel, not having a lot of luck. A huge cavalry mass out for Hera. Have we seen Boya's Fortitude coming in just yet for Hera's army?
Nope.
No, not yet. Not yet. So still got a few upgrades that he needs to do before he ideally looks to get that fight underway. But yeah, Wam now beginning to mine out. You can see just how much trouble he's having back here. The Gerd needs to move a little bit closer towards that wood line. You can see how far he's having to chop here. Obviously, it is buffed up by the Yam network, aka the Wam network. But now Springalds fighting out with each other on the front lines here. Men-at-Arms coming forward. Some archers on the back line also looking to tee off towards the enemy lancers. Horse archers doing their best to try and shut these units down. A lot of DPS back here. And the archers are actually having a pretty decent time. But my concern really comes now with the lancers. Look at the numbers out here, Lidakor. These are a huge amount of numbers. And Wam getting put into a difficult position here. Not enough spearmen coming out for him. And he is really having a difficult time.
He's having a really difficult time indeed. He started adding crossbowmen against all those knights, but this was the perfect fight that Hera could have taken. He lost some of his knights over here to the spearmen, of course, but he's got the Saint's Blessing with his warrior monk, and the horse archers just pick apart the spearmen so fast that the amount of knights that you will lose is minimal, and Hera is on the roll. He's got the momentum as well, he's got the movement speed, so he can really chase down this army, and at this point, Wam sitting at only 10 army as opposed to 41. Production buildings out here exposed as well. This is looking really difficult right now for Wam to come back from.
Yeah, I'm pretty concerned just with the amount of numbers that are out here for Hera that I think it might be a good game for Wam at this point. Are we able to do a stock take and see where these players are up to? So we've got 57 and 40 versus 62 and 20. So yeah, double the military mass right now for Hera. He's going to really begin to put on the hurt now, taking out infrastructure from Wam and really make it a difficult situation for him to be in. We see he's also taking sacred sites behind this, so looking to secure an economic lead even further. At the same time, Wam dropping down behind this pastures, and that is not a position you want to be in when your enemy is in your base. You don't want to be dropping down more pastures.
He's starving. Like, you can see that he barely has 10 villagers on food right now. I feel like the main reason why his push stalled out so badly is because we didn't have a lot of pastures for him, and unlike the farms that you can start working on immediately, the pastures need some time to pay off because they need to start bringing in sheep for you, and you see the amount of sheep he has underneath that town center is just worrisome for him. Pastures need at least 5 minutes or so to start paying off and start giving you a good food eco. He's just starving to death right now.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty for him right now. And Hera going to continue expanding out on the map. We see he's taken one sacred site over towards the west. No sacred site being taken out just yet. Now, behind this, has he managed to drop down a second town center just yet? I think he's still on the 1 TC, isn't he?
Oh, he's on 1 TC. But in exchange, he's got the boar, and that's the difference maker between the two players. It's not like Hera has a gigantic farming geek, although he has been slowly adding that as well. But it's about the boar that he has, it's about the extra relic that he has over his opponent, and now he's grabbing the sacred sites, as you said. Wam is not giving up on this one just yet, and given time, the Mongols can still become a powerful civ here, but he's definitely on the back foot. And I feel like now Hera could start using his mobility and start getting some raiding damage done.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the big question for me is how does Wam possibly get back into it at this point where he's down such a significant amount, where we've got a beautiful composition that's coming out from Hera. You can see he's got the tri-unit composition in the Springald with the Horse Archer and the Lancer out nice and early, or the Knight out nice and early. It really starts, I'm scratching my head here thinking, how does he even counter this? Because even if you go mass spearmen at this point, it's just not going to work. There's way too many horse archers that are out. They're not going to be able to kill the knights fast enough. You can't go mass men-at-arms. I feel like I really don't know what he can do. It's such a difficult composition to deal with.
Yeah, I feel like he waited a little too long, because it took a lot of time for Hera to build up those horse archer numbers, but now this army is just very difficult to stop, especially because some of the units that you can make against this one will just be too slow. Hera's got insane amount of mobility over here, with the warrior monks, the knights, and the horse archers, all of them being highly mobile units, so he can really just disappear from any battle any moment, as it looks like instead he's just gonna go for a straight up push on the eco of the opponent. Wam is currently sitting at 39 army technically, some of that being sprinkled, some mangonels are in there, but there's just no beef to that army. The knights can just jump on these and slaughter them in 5 seconds.
And that's exactly it. There's no beef to this. There's no meat. There's no potatoes in this army at all. It's really just skeleton stuff that exists right now. And he's trying to put up those mangonels. It's just not going to be even reasonable. You know, the 3 Springalds are in here. Going to be able to one-shot that straight away. Shut that down. And wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Hera is going to be the one that is chanting that because this is looking continually difficult for Wam at this point. Hera pushing in now. Plenty of knights that are out on the front line, just doing so much damage. We see the horse archers just behind this, not having trouble at all, and he's going to be able to clean this up completely. And once he gets into this villager line, it is going to be a good game. And you can see there's 20 villagers inside that town center right now. Once he takes out all of this once he takes out all of these units, it's going to be straight through to the villagers, and GG is going to be called any second. There she is. Game going over in favor of Hera, 1-0. The Rus player taking out the Mongol player, and wham, our underdog for the day, going to be losing the first game in this set.
This is just such a difficult game to look at because it started out a little shaky for him. That Ovu being very exposed definitely delayed his castlage plans. His idea was to go aggressive in Dark Age and then sort of play that fast castle style approach. But really, he wasn't able to beat Hera to castlage, partly because his food eco was a bit troublesome. And in general, I really felt like Wam never really had the amount of food that he wanted to have. So he had a limited amount of sheep to work with when reaching Feudal Age, then he had to ferry in the deer, and after running out of deer, it really felt like he just didn't have any extra food to take. Those pastures being added, those were just way too late compared to when they should have been added if he really wanted to have a consistent food eco like mid-castle age. And you see, he was still adding pastures when Hera was pushing him. To me, it really felt like lack of food was something that hindered the plans of Wam quite severely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it can just come down to, as well, just the professional scout nerf. People are still having a bit of a difficult time adjusting to the professional scout nerf. It's going to take time for people to work out when they need to start adding in those pastures. And obviously we saw Wam adding them in a little bit too late there, and it meant that his food count was really quite low when it needed to be a lot higher than what it was.